And welcome to Studio 5. We are just moments away from our sit-down with Justin Bieber's father-in-law, the stars of Lego Movie 2, and a football player who knows what it means to win a Super Bowl. So let's fire up the countdown and begin this week's look at uplifting entertainment. At number 5.
My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine.
Those words have new meaning for John Legend, who's making headlines like this for learning to swim at age 40. And seeing John Legend, I must confess, gives me hope because swimming is still a lesson I need to learn.
We're just ordinary people.
The Ordinary People crooner tweeted, "I can't really swim. Today I took my first lesson since I was like 5. My dad learned in his 60s, so I feel like I'm ahead of schedule." Andy's a quick study. His wife shares his progress on Instagram, writing, "Adult swim, so proud." At number 4. Lecrae and Corinne Hawthorne kick off this year's Super Bowl gospel celebration with Kirk Franklin, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, and Tamia alongside the Winans. Yeah, we all know the game was quite boring, but the gospel celebration was oh so good. And the NFL choir of 50 former and current players make the night. And that's number 5 and number 4. We're getting to number 3 in just a little bit. In this week's sit-down, we're returning to actor Stephen Baldwin, who last week gave us a first look at his film about an Australian missionary, Graham Staines, who died at the hands of Hindu fundamentalists in India, along with his 2 young sons. This week, Stephen is sharing his personal faith story as he prepares for a pretty big wedding. The Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin love story makes for tabloid headlines almost every day, especially as the young married couple now plan a slightly more public wedding.
It takes a lot to coordinate everything they're doing, and a lot of moving parts, as you can imagine, on both sides for families. And this
Studio 5 spent some time in New York City with Hailey's dad, Stephen, who actually introduced the two when they were just kids backstage at a TV show.
Are they planning a kid?
No heartbeat.
And Dad can't avoid the questions, even from me.
Anything you want to say about your son-in-law?
Yeah, please, for my family across the board, please pray. As you can imagine, my family, particularly Hailey and Justin, choose to publicly profess Christ. So that means there's a whole lot of forces that will be against them. And that's real.
Yeah.
You know, so I just hope people understand, you know, like people see folks and they go, oh, they don't need any help. They're just like you and me. So if we have a hope for them to be a blessing to the kingdom, well, then we gotta pray.
For people who may not know, what's your faith story? Where did this strong faith and belief in God come for you?
Oh my goodness. I'm a little further down the road in my faith now, but I'm trying not to get crazier with it. But some of us are different than others. I just saw Mel Gibson on an interview with Stephen Colbert, and he had this long beard, and he was talking about maybe the sequel to Passion of the Christ and this, that. But he had this long beard, and he's like, he's one of the icon Christians, Americana, all this kind of stuff, but he's, you know, where he's from, and I figured, like, I'll grow this out for this interview, bro, so I can kind of do my
Looking good.
Mel. This is my mini Mel. All right, so my journey has been a mini Mel. But I'm so blessed. I've been really studying for about 6 months a wonderful book I started reading. May I?
Yes, please.
It's called Culture of the Few. It's by a guy named Brad McCoy. And he's just a little pastor dude in Pennsylvania. But he identifies these 5 characteristics of Jesus that were how he walked and how he did his ministry. So it wasn't, you know, you've got to go out there because what if the next person you talk to in a generation is that next Billy Graham. Not what this book is about. The book is about, yeah, sure, that's great, but all this stuff that we go through in this process to follow should be pointed at you, yourself, for you to become that person. Which is fascinating and very powerful, especially at this time. I mentioned the book just because just in the last 2 years, after almost 18 years being born again, again, everybody's different. Some people can read a sign and they obey. Stephen Baldwin, I'm a skydiver. You know, so my faith story is, got saved back in '03. Did all the stuff you're supposed to do, said the prayer, water baptism, all of it. But then I kind of went out and made a covenant with the Almighty that my experience with Him better be better than plunging at the earth at 120 feet per second, because that's who I am. Yeah. So like, I need this thing to be so real, I know it's you, and then I'll just do whatever you want.
Adventure.
He kept his end of the deal. But now, Culture of the Few, the book, now I'm at this place where it's kind of like a Watchman Nee, you know, sit, walk, stand, you know, where I'm at this place of really understanding that the feeling you and I are having, the realness of being this distance from each other, and you're shaking your head and I'm talking and I feel you and I'm responding to your expressions, and you can have that in this life with your Lord. You can have that feeling you're feeling now. And I hate to say it, my wife always kind of corrects me when I say it's not for everybody, but it is for everybody. But two things keep people from Jesus: fear and pride, and all the things that stem off of that. Yeah. And you know, I've been fearless about it. So now just me and the missus, Miss Kenya. We're up on a farm up north in New York, and we're blessed because our ministry now is mostly to family and friends. We're getting ready to do some fun stuff in 2019. Ministry stuff, yeah, some ministry stuff. And but it's just cool to be empty nesters. The kids are married, and we're just available to be there for them and continue to pursue hearing from the Lord correctly to go in the right direction.
And the least of these is in theaters right now. By the way, when it comes to his daughter's wedding, there are reports Bieber and Baldwin have sent out save-the-date invitations for February 28th. That's the day before Justin's 25th birthday. Others speculate that wedding is going to happen sometime in April or May.
Still ahead.
Well, Batman was there. That's pretty broody. He was covered in glitter. But ooh, there was a talking ice cream cone.
The voices behind
Hello, visitors from another planet.
Lego Movie 2.
More confetti. Even more frosting. More glitter.
Give us a behind-the-scenes look at the funny film.
I'm a queen, whatever I would not be.
The talking horse?
I can change my form if this makes you uncomfortable.
And you are back in Studio 5. Here's the next headline in our weekly countdown of what's new and now in uplifting entertainment.
At number 3, with 15 of them on her shelf,
And the Grammy goes to...
this singer moves from presenter to host.
It is indeed Grammy season, and we've got 2 Grammy headlines to share.
The first is the legendary singer celebrating a milestone birthday.
Diana Ross has been added to the bill. She'll take the stage for a 75th Diamond Diana birthday performance.
A lifetime achievement?
The Academy has honored Ross for lifetime achievement, but the Supreme has never won a competitive Grammy.
Just a handful of promises are all that's left of loving you.
Diana Ross turned 75 March 26th. At number 2, and speaking of the Grammys,
So I'm living with a fire burning inside of me.
Jesus Culture will be there with a nomination for Best Contemporary Christian Music Album for their project, Living with a Fire.
Yeah.
Nominated?
Yes.
How you feeling?
Jesus Culture, yeah. I was, yeah, I was really surprised, honestly.
Really?
Yes, I really was. I mean, as a musician, as an artist, that you dream about that. Like, that's incredible and so humbling and honoring to receive a Grammy nomination. Winning would be amazing, but to be quite honest, I am so thrilled that we received a nomination. I'm very happy with that.
And that leaves us with only one more headline in this week's countdown. You want to be sure to stick around for what's coming in at number 1 this week. Well, the reviews boast everything is pretty awesome in Lego Movie 2. We caught up with Pratt, Tiffany Haddish, and the rest of the cast and crew for this Studio 5 first look.
Once, everything was awesome. Now, everything is bleak.
Hey, Lucy. I brought you coffee. I knew from the moment it was pitched to me by Phil Lord and Chris Miller that this movie was going to be something really special.
Well, Batman was there. That's pretty broody.
We're getting a look at just like what is possible inside the mind. And the fact is, everything is possible. Anything is possible.
I'm General Mayhem. Bring me your fiercest leader.
Lucy!
Emmett!
Ah!
The visuals in this movie just take it to another level.
You mind if I save your life? Not at all. Who are you? The name's Rex Dangervet. I just was blown away at the inventiveness, the creativity, this sort of genre-bending animated movie that would speak to children but also to adults. Will you help me rescue my friends? You don't want to go anywhere near the Sistar system. It's ruled by an alien queen.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. I built a space temple right in the center of our universe. The thing that I think is the most cool about this movie is the style of cartooning. I'm queen whatever I would not be.
I'm getting super evil vibes here.
I can change my form to something else if this makes you uncomfortable. Hey guys, I think it's amazing.
Hello, visitors from another planet. There's no need to fight anymore. See? Friends.
The way that the first movie was about that sort of father-son relationship and your relationship to play and imagination and structure and rules. This is about human connection and understanding and empathy and all those things that we need to be closer to other people.
Let's go find your friends. Who's a good boy?
Sparkle hairball blast! It's really fun to get back into the Lego universe. Look different. Did you draw stubble dots on your face?
What? No.
I got a phone and a play phone. I gotta get it, baby.
One of the great themes about this movie is this notion that we should all be able to play together and kind of get along.
Sorry, Banana keeps slipping on his pill on the way out.
Yeah, we know. The parents don't just like it because of the jokes that they can relate to, but also it brings them back to when they were a kid.
Coming through. I'm the leader of...
You! I don't think so. I know I have an emotional connection to Lego. It reminds me of my childhood. I'm very nostalgic for it, but also it brings out people's creativity.
Uh-oh.
Wild style, it's fun!
Lego has such a staying power. There really are characters for everyone, every different type of kid, every different type of adult to connect to.
Hello, cyborgs.
Say, what a morning.
Good morning, sewer babies. It's a rare opportunity in a film, in any film, for an actor to sit down and watch a film that they participated in and be swept up in the movie.
Look, a shooting star, make a wish.
I was there with my son, and he watched it and I watched it, and we really were just kind of blown away.
The Sistar system.
No woes. We could use a little more positivity.
On, Wild Style, join the party.
Ooh.
That's even worse. Stop it.
And Lego Movie 2 is in American theaters this Friday, February 8th.
And still to come, he's now a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
For me, football-wise, was really a struggle.
But this captain's career almost ended before it began.
And welcome back to Studio 5. We have made it to the final headline in this week's countdown.
At number 1.
This is my first strike in Colorado under this name.
Ashton Kutcher has more than 18 million followers on Facebook, and the actor is sharing a pro-life message with them.
No one knows more about life with Down syndrome than I do.
Recently posting an old congressional speech from actor Frank Stevens.
I am a man with Down syndrome, and my life is worth living.
Kutcher writes, this man gave a powerful speech on Down syndrome. Everyone's life is valuable.
I don't feel I should have to justify my existence. Is there really no place for us in the world? Is there really no place for us in the NIH budget?
That's a pretty nice way to end this week's countdown. New England Patriot captain Matthew Slater is enjoying yet another Super Bowl win after his team defeated the Rams Sunday. The win is just a little bittersweet because Matthew grew up watching his dad play for the Rams. But as you can imagine, fatherhood and faith are so much bigger than football, even the Super Bowl. Matthew shares it all in this week's Faith on the Field. The New England Patriots' Matthew Slater now adds a third Super Bowl championship to his record. But he still remembers being in college and considering giving up the game.
I was prepared to transition away from the game of football because, I didn't know what my opportunity would be at the next level. But I think through that, God kind of showed me, hey, you're not Matthew Slater, the football player. You need to understand that your mind and your purpose and calling is higher than that of an athlete. 7 years old, I remember my dad sitting down and kind of laying out the plan for salvation, telling me who Jesus was, telling me why I needed him, and just understanding who I was and who God was.
Matthew grew up in Orange County, California. His dad is Hall of Famer and LA Rams Jackie Slater, a high school standout in football, a track star, and a scholarship to play at UCLA. But still, some confusion.
For me, football-wise was really a struggle. I think when I went into college, a lot of my identity was tied up in being a football player, son of a football player. I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations. This Jackie Slater's son, Pro Football Hall of Famer, he's supposed to be a certain way. He's supposed to act a certain way. His level of play is supposed to be this.
Things changed when injuries benched Matthew his freshman season and the first 3 games of his sophomore year.
And I kind of just was like, what am I doing here? Like, I had these plans, Lord. This is how it was supposed to go, and it's not going that way. I was asking why.
He considered walking away from the game, but then he realized the real problem.
I think for me, it was me, we talk about idols and putting other things. It was football. It was my status as an athlete. It was how people viewed me. It was man-pleasing.
Then came that talk with his dad.
My dad kind of just sharing scripture with me and talking with me and helping me see and understand that, hey, it's not about you all the time, son. And sometimes the Lord has plans for your life that you can't even see and understand.
It was then he decided to follow God's purpose for his life.
I just felt like a different person altogether, no question. I'd like to be introduced as Matthew Slater, follower of Christ, a husband to Shahzad, and father to Jeremiah. I mean, those are the things that I value most. I'm proud of what I've accomplished on the football field. I've been extremely blessed, but it's not who I am.
This team captain has a captain of his own.
I think when you talk about leadership on that team, I think I'm there to serve. And I look at leadership and how it was best modeled, it was through Jesus Christ. And he came to serve, he served people. So as I embrace leadership on the team, I've always tried to be transparent and just serve people. That's what I really feel like I'm here for. It's never really been about football. That's just a byproduct. I think that it's been about building relationships, and the Lord has put me here to make his name more famous. And I think ultimately that is my purpose in life, is to serve and to point the finger in the direction of Jesus Christ.
By the way, Jackie Slater played for 19 seasons for the Los Angeles Rams. That's an entire career for the Hall of Famer in a Rams jersey. As I share nearly every week, music fuels the production of this show. And there's a line in a song by Brian Courtney Wilson that says, "In due time, God will blow your mind with what He's planted inside you to bless the world as it blooms." Just think about that and take a listen to why it's what's playing in my ear.
In due time, God will blow your mind with what He planted inside of you to bless the world as it blooms.
He that has begun
a great
work in you.
And still ahead,
I am the resurrection and the life.
a photographic look at the story of Jesus coming to a screen near you. And welcome back to Studio 5. It is time to say it in pictures. Here's this week's Studio 5 Snapshot.
Mary, the child you bear will be called the Son of God.
We've shared video and exclusive photographs of the History Channel's new series, Jesus His Life, coming this spring. These faces are just a few of the theologians you'll see and hear when the series begins March 25th, just in time for Easter, and this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. With that snapshot, we are almost out of time for this edition of Studio 5, but the team is already hard at work on next week. Here's a quick preview of at least one story we're lining up for you.
I don't want to end up like Dad.
Hey, you guys mind if I join you?
Yeah, I lost my appetite.
We're family.
We're family. You're a drunk who left us after our mom died.
Run the Race is Tim Tebow's first feature film, and it's filled with life lessons.
If you're going through a hardship, keep in mind that you're going through the hardship. Just don't stop and build a house in the middle of it.
You never know your potential or what you can accomplish until you give everything you have.
We're getting an up-close look at the film before it hits the box office. Hope you'll join us for that and so much more next week. From a Super Bowl win to a hit at the box office or even just scoring a win in your own life, it is easy to become prideful, arrogant, and to boast and brag. That's not a good look. Recording artist Miranda Curtis has this reminder in today's final word.
Through all of this, it's easy to become arrogant. I oftentimes say that humility is a choice. And I wake up every day with that mindset that I didn't get this far on my own. That it's all God and it's all good. And humility will be my portion because it's through that God will exalt you. Yeah.
Thanks, Miranda. Let humility be your portion and watch God do a great work in you. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone else. And then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.